Hi, and welcome back to 12 Days of Work in Progress. Today, I want to talk a little about being complacent or complacency because that's probably one of the biggest counter argument for loving ourselves as a work in progress. And it's usually not a counter argument from others, although it sometimes can be. I think I've had that before. But I bet a lot of us just do that to ourselves a whole lot. And I want to talk about it as a really really useless thing that our minds put us through. What does it matter if we are too complacent or we are not? It doesn't really change anything we're supposed to do. It only put us in a place of stuckness because it's not saying let's give up and let's not put more effort into this thing that we're doing. And it's also not saying keep going, like you can improve, you can do better. So I do think that labeling can be one of the biggest waste that people do put our mind and our energy into. Is when you put labels on people, then you get into stereotypes, you get into some kind of get put in a box, and it's a place of inaction. And as a person who has a over analytical, overactive mind, it takes years, maybe decades, for me to learn learn what it means not to identify with our thoughts. Just growing up, I had good friends and people telling me that I think too much, and I should be ready to try things and not worry or plan too much. And having always been a thinking person, it's really hard for me to understand until I get old enough, I have enough time in my life to try different ways or be forced to try different ways. That cutting off of thinking, cutting that attachment to justifying things or making things make sense in terms of logic, in terms of verbal logic, that really can stand in the way sometimes. And I feel like one example is putting labels on ourselves and say, I am a lazy person, or I am too complacent, and that's why I am okay with not making more progress. I think I've talked a little bit about resting and ending things, ending a mindset, ending whatever in one of my podcast episodes. And I think being able to accept where we are, truly, that takes a little bit of time and energy. That's the key to fighting complacency. The label itself doesn't do anything. I think we cling to that negative self-talk of I'm being too complacent, mostly because of two possibilities. I feel like one is that it's an easier thought to have. It's easier to put all the energy into talking down ourselves, and the mind feels productive. It's coming up with reasons, it's coming up with justification of why this is bad, why I am bad. And the mind feels like it did its job. But for the holistic me, for the whole person me, it's not really pointing me into anything actionable. So that's why I think it's important just to kind of just leave it. And so also, this is the first step of cutting things off, putting something to rest before you can fight back on that complacency argument. We have to end and agree that it's not productive to where we want to go. The second side to it, I feel like, is we have to accept that we are not that great. If we're already perfect, and I think that's the mindset of beating ourselves up. To think that we should always be doing better than we expected is to think that I'm pretty great. Like, I shouldn't have to go through failure. I shouldn't have to go to disappointment. I shouldn't have to work harder because I'm already great. And I think that could be kind of the mind tricks that we play on ourselves. And the magic is, if I just accept that I don't deserve instant success, it's not like I am already perfect and therefore everything should be better than I expected. If I can accept that, it actually puts me in a place of new beginnings and moving forward. If I accept, okay, this game is too hard for me, I'm not smart enough to win this game. I can choose a different character, I can explore a new zone, go to a different map, and by accepting and making peace with part of me that's not good enough, I can start anew. And what do we want? We want progress. So that's how putting things down and putting an end to something is how I can keep moving forward. I can't move forward by telling myself that I'm too complacent or that I'm lazy. It's not productive. It's productive only to the thinking mind, which is not the whole of ourselves. So I want to bring up my lessons of just overly dependent on the mind. And if you do tarot, it's like Nine of Swords. It just put me in, I can't go anywhere. And so this video is just focused on a very small part of being able to move forward, which is to just cut off the unhelpful thoughts and labeling. Okay, so yeah, that's it for this video. See you again soon.